Right, I'm back on Steel Melody. There's loads to do. I want to get her ready to put her officially on the market. She's sort of available for sale, as you know, but there's a lot to do, and I don't want to sort of show people to her until she's looking her best. You know, I've been storing stuff on her. I want to give her a good clear out, but it's dry today and it's not predicted to rain. So what I'm hoping to do is get some painting done on the outside.
We are Andy, Melissa, Jack and Oliver.
We've spent the last few years preparing to head off sailing to every corner of the world.
A few years ago we bought this huge steel yacht as a project.
But when Ollie came along, we needed a bigger boat with more cabins.
So now we're working on both boats,
Getting Ocean Melody ready to go,
getting Steel Melody ready to launch so that we can sell her.
to put some much needed funds back in the kitty for when we set sail.
So she's all sanded and ready to paint. So my plan today is to get some paint on the top side and just pray it doesn't rain. Midway through painting, as you've seen, and do you remember this, that when I fried it not so long ago because I spilt water on it? Well, one of our patrons has come to visit. So this is Cliff and Rita, and they've kindly come over. Cliff is a bit of a whiz kid with electrics and electronics and stuff. Somebody's actually bought us another one of these, a new one.
You're very lucky. Yeah.
But Cliff's going to try and fix this for me. If you can.
If I can, yeah.
You have that. Thank you very much indeed. And
Not too bad. Yeah.
no, it doesn't smell like blue smoke, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't.
But who knows?
Well,
I did change the fuse, just in case you get it home and think, oh, it's only bloody plain fuse.
Oh no, as long as you put the right side fuse in, I'm pretty similar.
That's it, yeah. So Cliff and Rita are two of our patrons. I'll put the rest of you guys on the screen here. So thank you very much, patrons, for supporting us. And these guys have popped over to see Steel Melody today. So I'm just going to show them around. Painting in this wind is no fun at all. I ended up getting covered in paint because the roller was splashing on me, so I had to be super careful not to let it drip on anybody else's boat or get it all over the floor. So I've got a few other things I want to do. I want to try and have a look at mounting the main sheet track. If I can, I'll just have a look and see if I can tackle it. Yeah, just as I predicted. Yesterday was lovely, so I was able to get that painting done on Steel Melody's top sides in the blue and get the main sheet track fitted while the weather was good. Today, look, it's drizzly and grey and horrible, and it's really not good painting weather. So what I'm going to do today, having planned around the weather, is look at the cockpit enclosure roof and see how we can progress with that. Let's see how it's looking. Looking really smart, but there's no way I can flip this over by myself. I can move the solar panels by myself. And this doesn't weigh anything. I say it didn't weigh anything. It's not horrifically heavy, but I need to flip it over so I can paint the underside. So I'm going to need some help moving it, aren't I? I think the best thing to do is if we pick it up, stand it on the floor that way, and then lift it. So first things first, we'll lift it up and put it, try not to let it drag on the corner of the, that's it. There we are. These blocks I taped on to stop the epoxy from just pouring straight out the underneath when I was filling the standoffs. There you go. But this side doesn't need very much prep because we made a better job of the underneath, Andy and I, and we used the peel ply much more effectively.
Well, you ran out, didn't you, on the top?
We ran out of peel ply when we did the top. So the top needed more prep work, but the underside, the peel plies worked, which is exactly what we wanted. But I've got to go over and give it a little bit of a dust off.
Yeah, the top is beautiful. The underneath's beautiful.
But this is the side you're going to see. If
you think from inside,
you're never going to see the top because the top is covered in solar panels.
Yeah.
The only bit of the top you're ever going to see is the fiddle around the edge, and the underside is absolutely gorgeous. The texture's beautiful. So, right, I can carry on with this now. I want to do an extra layer of cloth, not this thick, but around this corner. It occurred to me when Andy and I laid this up, we did discuss beefing up this edge because it'll allow more strength to work against any leverage of people pulling on it. So I'm going to key that area. As I say, it doesn't need much keying because we use the peel ply, so the surface is actually pretty good for glassing too. I'm going to give it a quick flat down, and before I paint the underside, I'm going to run an extra tape 2 or 3 inches wide all the way around the edge, just to beef up that corner and what have you, all the way around.
It's the next morning and this is looking beautiful. The tape, the fiberglass I did all the way around the edges yesterday is looking fantastic. Obviously there's some little straggly ends and stuff, so I'm just cleaning those up with the sander and then I'll be getting some paint on. Listening to Christian Williams' audiobook as I work. Right, that's got one coat on now. Got to let that dry. I'll let it dry for probably a couple of days and then I'll key it and then I'll do another coat. If I get back to it in time, I can put the second coat on without keying it. There's like a certain flash off period where if you get back to it in time, you can put the second coat on straight away. I'll look that up in the PDF file. Right, that's got to sit now for a bit then, so I'm going to head back over to Steel Melody.
What do you reckon then, guys? Come and have a look at the new blue Steel Melody. Doesn't she look amazing? But the problem is now, of course, that she looks amazing from the outside and a bloody mess inside. So, Jonathan is arriving tomorrow afternoon, I believe, to come and help me for a week get this boat ready and get her a few steps further along. So my mission now is to give her a bloody good tidy up. Well, that's the pilot house, back nice and tidy and clean again. You know, when you've got everything tidied up in this boat, I always forget how much flipping room there is in this pilot house. She's huge. It's a huge boat. On the inside, it's like a TARDIS. Only 36 foot long though, length overall on the outside. Right, stop talking and carry on working, I suppose. On with the next coat of this then. I am back in time to do, within the time frame, to do another coat on this without keying it. So I can just mix up some paint, get another coat on here of white, and then get back over to Steel Melody to carry on. There's an awful lot going on, guys. I'm trying to work on two boats at the same time. And as I've said before, Melissa is doing some incredible upholstery work, which is, you may have already seen actually. So that's why she's not in this episode particularly much. Right, I'm gonna mix up some paint, get it on this. Right, that's great. That's another coat done on the underside of the cockpit enclosure roof. We can head back over to Steel Melody. I'm not going to subject you to more cleaning and tidying though. I'll just show you what the boat looks like at the end of this. Something I do need to do though is install the steering system. This is the gearbox and the main shaft. Now you can see that we've still got the binnacle out there and the steering wheel is all ready to go on. But I need to connect up the steering and also connect up the gearbox so that this wheel in here works the steering as well, and I've just never got round to it, so I'm going to try and do that now. A friend of mine has come over to help, so because it's really a two-person job, because you need somebody with tools in the cockpit and somebody with tools under the cockpit. I'll do the dirty, horrible job of going under the cockpit, of course. So we've just been giving the cockpit a bit of a clean. It was absolutely filthy and covered in mank for the winter. Sharon's just hosing it down now, as you can see. And it's filthy. It needs a good scrub and a good coat of paint, but for getting the steering system on, that's absolutely fine. We can work with that. So what we've got to do first of all, as soon as Sharon has finished with the hose pipe, is remove the steering binnacle, unbolt it all, and so that we can put the gearbox in from underneath. Can go to one side. Yep. You just need a screwdriver, and I'll take the nuts off the underneath. So Sharon's going to use the screwdriver on the top, I'm going to go underneath with a spanner, and we're going to get the steering system binnacle off.
Right, just wait a minute, there you go.
So the next thing is to take out the spline drive, so this is the gear that converts that to that. Look at that, perfect. Lower it down over the top like this, and get that piece of metal to come up through that hole. So, does that make sense? Probably not.
Nearly. There you go. In, it's in.
I'm not sure how much you can see of this, but I'm just putting the nut on the bottom of this this gearbox. Come on. That's all of them bar one. That's not a bad idea. I can turn the whole lot round so that I can see them easier to do them up. Right, that is now in position. What I'm going to do now is put the spline drive on and the wheel and just make sure that everything's working before I bolt this down and Sikaflex it and seal it up. And that means an exact reverse of what we just did. Let me just I'm going to get a drive key, because there's a spline. Can you see that there's like a groove there? There's a groove there. So we should be able to put a drive key in that. Here I've got a box of drive keys, engineering keys. One of those goes into the groove in the shaft and into the helical gear, which I've put in without filming stupidly, but I'm not taking it back out. And there's also a grub screw to hold that in place. There we are. And then this holds it on. Yeah, that's nice. Lovely. Right, we can now Sikaflex and bolt this down. So, what we're using to bolt the steering pedestal down with is 316 marine grade cap head dome heads with a washer on the top, with another washer on the underneath, with a nylock nut, and the whole lot is going to be sealed with Sikaflex. So because these use Allen keys, we've got the set of Allen keys out so that Sharon can put an Allen key in the top and I can spin the nut on with a spanner. And of course, the one Allen key that we need is the one that's missing, so we're using this. Forgive me, it's the one from a flipping bicycle set or something. I hate these multi-tool things, but they do get you out of a scrape when you're in a pickle. Is that mixed metaphors? Yeah, that's mixed metaphors. This is super exciting. When we turn the wheel now, the rudder will move. So there's Sharon turning the wheel. So you're centre there, are you? Let's see if the rudder's actually in the centre. Oh, and we are. Look at that. Okay, full to the left, which is lovely. And full to the right. And back to the middle. Lovely, that'll do. Right, next thing is I'm using left and right because Sharon's not a boatie, okay, drop it. I'm going to connect up now. There's another gearbox for the steering in the pilot house. This here is another gearbox. It connects the steering wheel in the pilot house to the steering system under the cockpit floor. And you turn one and the other turns, look. So it does this. So what I've got to do is connect that all up and bolt it to a mount that's under there. So Sharon is going to go and put the compass, the Cestral compass, back on its plinth on the top of the steering binnacle, while I fight with this thing. These are Hardy Spicer joints, which are super nice. Oh, yes. Okay, turn.
Hey, it turns the other wheel too.
Yeah, nice. So now, rather excitedly, when we turn this wheel, that wheel turns. Look. And when I turn this wheel, they're all connected together. Lovely. It is a heavy steering system. It's going to be, because it's all mechanical Whitlock steering front to back with, you know, lots and lots of different joints all the way through. But similarly, if I turn this one, the inside wheel turns. How cool is that? So can you steer from inside, just to see that? I know it's a childish thing, but I just want to see the rudder moving when Sharon steers from inside the boat. How cool is that? So pleased. Right, we're at the end of another long, hard day. Sharon's just gone. She's been helping me all day. Fantastic, fantastic help. The boat is much, much tidier. I'll quickly show you. Forepeak is all tidy. I've got bits of timber that I need stocked up at the sides, but this is all now sort of tidy-ish. Anything that I don't need is going to get thrown away. Same in here. I've got a pile of timber on the seat that some of which I may need, some of which may get binned. This side of the saloon's looking fine. Pilot house is all looking splendid, as you've seen. I've got my tools out, obviously. The main thing that I'm almost emotional about it, really, is this: being able to turn the wheel both from inside and out and steer the boat. Because when we first bought the boat, the steering was all seized up. So to have it now back on and working, obviously it got rebuilt a couple of years ago I took it off and did a few bits and pieces, and Nigel fiddled with it a little bit, so thanks very much, Nigel, for that. And now it's back on the boat and working. Obviously we couldn't put it back on until now because the boat wasn't ready, but to have it back on and connected up is kind of an emotional deal, you know. Anyway, enough of my mushiness. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thanks very much to our patrons for supporting us, anyone who's given it through, and to anyone who's donated through Coffee or PayPal or Super Thanks or anything like that. Amazing, guys. Thank you so, so much. So I'll say bye-bye there. I'm going home to have some dinner. Jonathan's going to be arriving in a little while. So next week's episode should be pretty frantic, because Jonathan and I are going to spend the next few days doing loads of work on Still Melody. And as you've seen, I'm still working very hard on Ocean Melody as well. Okay, guys, take care. Bye-bye.